right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, taking questions. The Army Corps of Engineers answers to the Florissant community after announcing a local school reported to have radioactive waste is safe.
I'm thrown in the deep end to try to figure out what to do with this. I don't know.
Plus, justice delayed. He was arrested for allegedly killing this St. Louis police officer 2 years ago and has yet to go to trial. Our I-Team looks into the holdup.
But first tonight, another surge of Arctic air spilling into the bi-state region right now. Just how low those wind chills will go.
Right now, the temperature is dropping as a reinforcing shot of cold air moves in. Some areas have seen light snow and flurries. Good evening. Thank you for being with us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. So what can you expect in the morning? Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with your Weather First forecast.
Well, we are cold, Mike and Ann. There's no doubt about that. And we don't see that changing until next week. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be cold, but you won't wake up to snow on the ground here. That's more likely to be much farther to the south, and even there, we're talking about the potential being limited because the air is so dry. Right now, there's some snow over Springfield, but nothing over St. Louis at this point other than clouds. Our temperatures have been in the low 40s. Now we're sliding back into the 30s, but you look up the road and towards Omaha, Lincoln, Des Moines, temperatures are around 20 degrees there, and it is that cold air that's heading our way as we head into tomorrow morning. So at the bus stop tomorrow morning, temperatures in the 20s, wind chills 10 to 15 degrees early tomorrow morning. Yes, there could be a stray flurry tomorrow, but there won't be any accumulating snow in St. Louis. We're tracking even stronger winds for Saturday, and what that means is the cold air really settles into the region in about 12 minutes.
Tonight, 2 public meetings in 2 counties, both over concerns of contamination, fears of radioactive waste in Coldwater Creek, and the safety of drinking water in St. Charles. And 5 on your side was at both of those meetings. Let's begin in Florissant, where the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is working to assure a skeptical community that Jana Elementary is safe.
Parents got the chance to have their questions answered. Brent Solomon is live at Jana Elementary with the very latest. Brent.
Well, although tonight's meeting was truly targeted at parents who have children here at Jana Elementary, many of them could not attend. That's because there were different meetings happening at the same time at different locations. It was a Meet Your New Teacher event for all of the students here at Jana who are now being relocated. It's a show and tell of sorts as the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers sat down with people concerned about contamination at the Coldwater Creek and how that's impacting now shuttered Jana Elementary.
From a radiological standpoint, the school is safe.
Although leaders admit they are still working to clean up contamination in North St. Louis County, they say there are no alarming levels of radioactivity at the school. That contradicts an independent report by the Boston Chemical Data Corps that says students are in danger. Who do you believe?
I don't know who to believe.
It's perplexing for parents like Nicole Sammons, who after Thanksgiving must send her child to a brand new school. The Hazelwood School District closed Jana out of an abundance of caution.
My kids are in 4th grade, so are we going to turn around and we moved to a new school this year, and next fall we're right back at Jana? And these kids are just getting shuffled back and forth. We don't know.
Thursday night, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers sharing the presentation it shared at this week's school board meeting, which aligns with the findings of an independent study from a company the school district hired. When it comes to the conflicting report,
We have great contractors and industry partners that we do this work with. I won't comment on their procedures. We stand by the work that we do. We're going to focus on our processes and our data and let that stand alone.
My hope is that now that this has come out more publicly and, unfortunately been brought to the attention of more people, that maybe things will move on a little bit quicker to get rid of this waste.
Now many people are wondering tonight, will Jana reopen? I can tell you that the superintendent here in Hazelwood has not spoken publicly since all of this controversy started. Tonight I put in another request for an interview with her. We'll let you know if the district responds. Tonight, we're live on your side. Brent Solomon, back to you.
Tonight, hundreds of people showed up to Blanchette Park in St. Charles, where officials from the EPA discussed concerns of contamination in the Elm Point well field. The city says it's had to shut down 4 of its wells. Laura Barczewski was at that meeting, which wrapped up within the last hour. Laura.
And tonight, the EPA made clear that there is new contamination that they say they're currently investigating around Well 6 in St. Charles. I pressed them on where this contamination is coming from. The EPA and the city of St. Charles both spoke at a public meeting, reassuring residents their drinking water is safe despite contamination concerns.
The influent and the effluent that goes to your public drinking water has never shown any detection.
St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer says that is because they shut down the wells before contaminated water could ever leave the wells, pointing to an Ameren substation and a Superfund site.
If there's any indication that there's any carcinogens in, I don't care what the levels are, I'm shutting the well down.
But the most recent contamination is concerning residents, and I asked the EPA about it during the meeting.
The new contamination that we're seeing in Well 6, where is that coming from? Because we have a lot going on around this, and I feel like a lot of people want to know where this newer contamination detection is coming from.
That's why the investigation is important. We want to identify where the contamination is coming from, again, so that the responsible parties can pay for and conduct the cleanup.
The mayor says the private contractor they hired says differently.
This new contamination, did your private sources tell you where it was coming from?
Vindet and Camus are out of business. That was a long time ago. And they came in and did some remediation after those 2 were evaluated. But then, since then, it's been Ameren. They talk about they're out in the fields looking for some other source. Well, there's no other sources that are using vinyl chloride.
Ameren said in a statement tonight they worked on cleanup for years and, quote, Ameren Missouri strongly supports additional EPA-directed testing in the area this year with the cooperation of all parties to determine the source. But residents say this meeting tonight was more frustrating than helpful.
The whole thing's disappointing. It seems like EPA says that there's a solution, but everyone in the community is like, no, you guys aren't doing enough. So I'm just concerned about the residents that are here and how our water's going to be safe.
The mayor says he asked for 2 meetings initially, so this is one of the 2 they asked for, and he's hoping for another one. Now, that public comment period that they were talking about tonight, that extension is still at December 5th. The mayor says he'd like to see that extended even further so there can be more discussion. We have information on KSDK.com about how you can submit a public comment to the EPA. Reporting live in St. Charles, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
It's 1 week until Thanksgiving, and annual holiday helpers have sprung into action. With 40-year high inflation and tough economic times, the need is greater this year.
Our Robert Townsend shows us how 2 agencies are making sure families don't go hungry this holiday season.
Thanksgiving is next week, and that's why the St. Louis Urban League is on an all-important mission.
It makes a huge difference.
Help families who are struggling this holiday season.
Because people come to us for a lot of different reasons, and they look forward to the turkey distribution every year.
Volunteers have started preparing hundreds of boxes at the organization's headquarters in Jennings. They're filling these boxes with canned goods, stuffing, and other Thanksgiving trimmings. Free food for families, and this year, the need is especially great.
This year, our goal is to feed about 2,500 families. We do have a registration process. It is specifically for the city, but we will not turn anybody away.
The folks here at the St. Louis Area Food Bank know this Thanksgiving, and actually all year, there have been plenty of families out there needing help.
In the past 5 years, we've gone from serving 500 families to this year, we're serving over 4,000 families.
What's more, she says, as of June of 2021, nearly 350,000 people in the bi-state region struggled to feed themselves or their families.
They're single families, they're single people, they're married, they're retirees, they're seniors, they're veterans, and they're coming to us and they're saying, I've never done this before.
Real tough times for people surviving the holidays and every day.
All they have to do is show up.
We're here to help.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
The food bank's Thanksgiving food distribution will be held on Monday and Tuesday, the Urban League on Tuesday, and you can find more details on KSDK.com under the As Seen on TV section.
Over the next week, more than 54 million Americans will begin traveling for their holiday gatherings. Nearly 49 million of them by car. AAA says that's a slight increase from last year. It's about 98% of pre-pandemic levels. As thousands of St. Louisans get ready to fly for the Thanksgiving holiday, one 5 on Your Side viewer has noticed some inconsistencies at TSA checkpoints. So she asked the Verify team to fact check it. You know, shoes off, grab a gray bin, but what about liquids?
What is the TSA policy for liquids in a carry-on bag? Some airports seem to be enforcing the plastic bag rule and some don't.
Our sources, the TSA, Roger Lotz, spokesperson for Lambert Airport, and the TSA website. Online, the TSA states carry-on liquids must be 3.4 ounces or less and fit in one quart-size resealable bag. But when I talked to a TSA spokesperson more specifically, she said the plastic bag is just a recommendation, not required. The plastic bag idea started as a way to limit the quantity of liquids each passenger brings. Now, whether you have to take your liquids out of your carry-on when going through the checkpoint, TSA pre-check members do not. For the rest of the flyers, it depends on the airport's level of technology and the type of scanning machines officers use. The TSA says officers will let you know at the checkpoint if you need to remove your liquids from your carry-on bag. We can verify a quart-sized plastic bag is not required for carry-on liquids, and whether you have to scan your liquids separately varies by airport. What can I verify for you? Send an email to verify@ksdk.com.
Westport Plaza has landed quite a catch. Rawlings Sporting Goods announced today it will move its headquarters to Business and Entertainment District in Maryland Heights. A 30-foot gold glove will be placed atop Westport's Gold Tower. The redevelopment includes 2 new restaurants, a retail center, and a public display of Gold Glove awards and other baseball artifacts. There will also be 2 new restaurants and a 255-unit apartment complex.
Justice delayed. It's been more than 2 years since a St. Louis police officer was killed in the line of duty. His widow still looking for answers.
It's an open and shut case. I don't understand what the holdup is.
The I-Team uncovers the one request keeping his suspected killer from going to trial.
The cold air surging into the bi-state region tonight doesn't have much moisture to work with, but the wind. Why that's an important factor for Saturday.
Tonight, supporters of a Missouri man set to be put to death later this month are not giving up after a judge today denied a request to halt the death sentence. Kevin Johnson was 19 back in 2005 when he shot and killed Kirkwood Police Sergeant Bill McEntee. Missourians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty, the NAACP, and Johnson's family say his execution is unjust and what he did should not come to the death penalty.
We do not believe that death penalty should be a punishment of a civilized society. We don't believe that killing someone is going to fix or redeem the death of someone else.
Last week, Johnson filed an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. The group is also asking Governor Mike Parson to grant him clemency. If that doesn't happen, Johnson is set to die by lethal injection on November 29th.
More than 2 years after a St. Louis police officer was shot and killed in the line of duty, his suspected killer still hasn't been tried for murder. The I-Team has been digging into court records to find out why there is still no trial date set.
In an exclusive interview, the officer's widow tells our Christine Byers how she feels the circuit attorney's office could do more to move the case along.
Wow. Alexis Bohannon does her best to keep dust from gathering on her husband's pictures, and now she's afraid it's collecting on his murder case.
It's an open and shut case. Only one perpetrator shot multiple people that day. I don't understand that delay.
Bohannon was shot in 2020 in the Tower Grove neighborhood. A man had forced his way into a home, barricaded himself inside, and shot at the officers who came to help. Bohannon died a few days later. After the shooting, officers took Thomas Kinworthy into custody.
I don't understand what the holdup is.
The I-Team searched through court records and called the public defender's office and prosecutors to find out what's taking so long. Court documents show Kinworthy's public defender asked to get him a mental health evaluation 19 months ago. It's still not done, and the case has been continued 8 times since then. St. Louis Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner's office hasn't objected to any of them.
I just don't feel confident that me and my family is being handled in the best way possible.
Anders Walker is a criminal law professor at St. Louis University.
Is there anything the Circuit Attorney's Office can be doing right now to push this along in any way?
Sure, the Circuit Attorney could object to a continuance of the case.
What position does that put the judge in?
So if the judge rushes the case and the defense does not have a reasonable time to get their witnesses together, then they could appeal.
Walker says there's no time limit on how long the defense can take to get a mental health evaluation.
It can take years before people get everything together.
The I-Team asked Gardner for an interview every day for a week. Her spokeswoman says she doesn't comment on pending cases. Kenworthy's public defender also wouldn't comment. Bohannon has some comfort as she waits.
As long as he's not on the streets, as long as he won't kill another soul in his life, I will be perfectly happy with that.
Left with those pictures, but no closure, just fear for others who served.
The officers that are still out there getting up and going to work every single day. Do you really have their back?
Alexis Bohannon could have to wait even longer for a trial date, depending on how the public defender's mental health evaluation comes back. If the Circuit Attorney's Office wants an independent evaluation, that could take months too. To read more about delays with mental health evaluations at the state level, go to KSDK.com.
Officer Bohannon's murder happened just 2 months after retired Captain David Dorn was gunned down. Gardner's office got a conviction in that case this past summer, and his killer has already begun his life behind bars.
Now to the weather first forecast. You're going to wake up to some really frigid temperatures tomorrow. So on the way to work and school, get ready, right,
Yeah,
Scott?
lots of layers here for the next couple of days, and the wind will be even worse as we head into Saturday. Now, one thing we're not going to see much of here is snow. We might see a couple of stray flurries, but most of that is either well to our south or well to our north. We're still at 37 degrees right now in St. Louis. We still have the clouds in place for the most part, and we will for a few more hours. The wind is out of the west-northwest at 17, still a little gusty. 37 right now. Our high today was 44 degrees. Tomorrow morning, low 20s out the door. Wind chills, well, they're going to be a problem early tomorrow morning, down into the teens for most of us. The snow right now, well, this looks impressive, right? As you head down towards Joplin, heading down towards Tulsa, not really. Joplin's had a few flurries out of this. The air is so dry it can't really reach the ground. Most of the action around the Great Lakes is really focused with lake effect right now. In just the last 2 hours, Buffalo has had 6 inches of snow with thunder. And there's your front off to the east of us. Now that that front's going through, that's going to open the door for the colder temperatures to slide on in. And so overnight, we drop back into the 20s. That's what you face walking out the door tomorrow. It's a mix of clouds and sunshine. Probably at times there may be a little more cloud cover than sun, and you have a breeze all day long. That wind is out of the northwest, and it's a bit gusty at times, but it will be even more so on Saturday. So your wind chills on Friday, teens in the morning, around 20 in the afternoon. Otherwise, it's a relatively quiet day. It's just frigid. Temperatures struggling to get much above 30 degrees. And then Saturday morning, a lot of us are down into the teens, and wind chills will be in the lower teens, and they won't go up all that much during the day on Saturday because winds will be gusting 25, maybe 30 miles per hour, and we stay in the 30s for highs. Saturday's scouting for food, by the way, so those scouts will be bundled up as they come around for one of America's largest one-day food drives. Hope you're able to help out. We'll be around 40 on Sunday, so the whole weekend's cold, but the weather pattern is shifting. Heading into next week, couple of changes here. First, we've brought in even warmer temperatures as we head towards Monday and Tuesday. We've bumped them up a little bit, and we've bumped the rain chances down on Wednesday and even into Thursday and Friday. It doesn't look like there's a big chance we're going to see a lot of rain here around the St. Louis area. So most of Thanksgiving will end up being on the dry side, and your temperatures are still close to average heading into Black Friday.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have a new MVP of the National League in town, and I don't know if I've seen a prettier goal than the one in tonight's Blues game. Stick around.
If you have a tip for the 5 on Your Side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
It's just crazy. I don't know how to explain it. And I'm not sure Doug Armstrong or Craig Berube does either. Win 3, lose 8, and now win 5. Wasn't pretty tonight against Washington, but we're going to take those 2 points. Yes, we will. Early first, Jordan Kyrou, Braden Chen with a howitzer off former Blues goalie Charlie Lindgren. Now this is really pretty. Vladimir Tarasenko, wonderful pass. Pavel Buchnevich fakes the shot, and then a little wraparound, and it's 2-0 note. Late second, the third leading goal scorer of all time, Alexander Ovechkin, beats Thomas Greiss. It's a 3-1 game. Now, arguably the prettiest goal of the year. Look at what Ryan Riley does with the backhand. Wow! Third period, Blues make it too easy for the Caps. Connor Sherry beats Greiss. We're tied at 4. Went to a shootout. Buchnevich, and he makes it look easy. Then Greiss will stop Sherry. He had 47 saves. Blues win in a shootout 5-4. That's 5 in a row, and they are now 8-8. The Cardinals may not have led the league in wins, but they did in moments. Albert, Yadi, Waino, and tonight, one more. Paul Goldschmidt has done everything in his career except win the MVP. Well, with Nolan Arenado clapping and Albert announcing, the drought ended.
It is my honor to present this year, 2022 NL MVP to my friend and brother in Christ, Paul Goldschmidt. Congratulations, my brother.
Goldie is the 21st Cardinal to win it. Only the Yankees have more with 23. Aaron Judge won the award tonight in the American League. Manny Machado, second in the NL. Arenado, third. Goldie hit 35 homers, 115 RBIs. His OPS was the best in the league, 981. And oh, by the way, he's a great defender and an awesome teammate.
Whether I won this or not, it was going to be a great year. This was my best year and the most fun I had, playing with Nolan and Albert and so many guys we had. So it was just incredible. I think definitely as you age, you have to adapt, and that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to get ahead of it. You can't just try to do the same thing you did the year before. I don't look too far ahead. I just want to try to be good next year. And if I can do that, then I'll try to be good the year after that.
First round of the NCAA soccer tourney, SLU hosting Memphis. Alberto Suarez will score on a penalty kick in the second half. Of course, the game went to overtime. Third one in a row for SLU. Seth Anderson to Jack Micah. SLU wins 4-2. They play Indiana on Sunday in the second round. A November to remember on Sports Plus. Red Berenson, Gary Unger, Travis Ford, Trent Green, Joe Buck. And we finish in style with the one and only John Hamm. Join us Sunday night after the game for 5 on Your Side. Finally tonight, a word about the profession. I sometimes think I have the least meaningful job in America. I spend a chunk of my time talking about guys running around in short pants and tank tops and trying to stuff a ball through a hole. But last Sunday, we did an extensive profile on former Cardinal Scott Spiezio. After a 13-year battle with drugs and alcohol, he's winning, clean for almost 1,700 days. Well, he said at the end of the story, he wants to spend the rest of his life helping others with addiction. He feels that's his calling now. Scott has already heard from 12 different families asking for help, asking for advice. He's going to try and help each and every one of them. He's that kind of person. And tonight, when I get in my car, I'm going to think my little sports job every once in a while can do some good. And that will do it in sports.
That's great news.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
Dreaming of summer nights at Busch. Nice warm ones. The Cardinal tickets going on sale in less than 12 hours, plus the games with the best swag. Taylor Swift fans without tickets to her Eras Tour are out of luck. Ticketmaster has canceled tomorrow's public sale of tickets because of low inventory and high demand. This after Tuesday's pre-sale rush that crashed the website and left so many people frustrated. It's not clear when or if ticket sales will resume.
Well, tomorrow is Red Friday. That's your first chance at tickets for the Cardinals 2023 season. Ticket packages go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. That's on the Cardinals website. And take a look at next year's promotional giveaways. They include a mystery nickname jersey, a Cardinals belt bag, and an Adam Wainwright London Series bobblehead. For the full promotional schedule, go to the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com.
Here's Scott.
Hey, we have a final check of your forecast for tomorrow, and it is going to be cold. Yes, colder than today, and still with that wind that's going to be a bit gusty. Partly cloudy skies, wind chills are in the teens in the morning. Wind chills are around 20 during the afternoon. Our highs are in the upper 20s and lower 30s tomorrow, and that's it. You might see a stray flurry, but you'd be lucky if you do, and you'll have to look hard to find it. Over the weekend, morning temperatures are mainly in the teens, and highs will be close to 40 on Saturday and Sunday. Won't feel like it's Saturday with the wind.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show is next.